Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. One after another, high-ranking Democrats seem to be endorsing Kamala Harris for president. Joe Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris for president, and Nancy Pelosi also gave her endorsement to Kamala Harris. And I want to remind you that there were some names that were being mentioned. These are individuals who people thought would be potential presidential candidates. Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom. Remember these names? Gretchen Whitmer is the governor of Michigan. J.B. Pritzker is the governor of Illinois. Gavin Newsom, obviously, is the governor of California. And many people were thinking that these are individuals who are potential presidential candidates. But now we know that all of them expressed their support for Kamala Harris. So at this point, it seems obvious that Kamala Harris will be the nominee from the Democratic Party. The party is called Democratic Party, but they are not really practicing democracy. Let me tell you what the party did. The Democrat voters chose Joe Biden to run for president, and the voters made their voices heard through the primary process. But then the Democratic Party is disregarding that process, and they are trying to install Kamala Harris as the presidential nominee. The high-ranking members of the Democratic Party, they are the ones who are making the decisions here. The voters are completely being disregarded. And so the Democrat voters must pay attention to what's going on. And, the question for the Democrat voters is, do you want to support a party that does not care about your opinion? On the other hand, the Republican Party listens to the people. The Republican voters, they voted for Donald Trump in the primary process, and he is the nominee for president. Here's one thing, my friends. One thing that, I must point out, and that is that Joe Biden has not made an appearance in front of the public or in front of a TV camera since making that written announcement that he is exiting the presidential race. I understand that Joe Biden has COVID, but at some point soon, he has to appear in front of the people. It could be in a room full of reporters, or it could be an appearance from the Oval Office, but he has to appear on camera and address the people directly. Now, having said that, let's go back to the discussion of Kamala Harris. Now the question is, who is going to be the VP candidate running alongside Kamala Harris? It's a very important question, and a lot of people are asking that question. People who pay attention to politics, people who are watching all the new developments. The presidential election is about who the president will be, but it's also about who the running mate is. The choice of running mate shows what kind of an administration there would be if the ticket wins the election. Now, I must point out, as I always do, I am hoping and praying that Donald Trump wins the presidential election. But given everything that's going on with the Democratic Party, I have to point out a few things. At the end of the day, I want Donald Trump to win. I want the Trump-Vance ticket to win, and I'm going to be voting for Trump. But let's talk about the Democratic Party and the crisis that they seem to be in. Now, when Trump picked Mike Pence as running mate years ago, we knew that it would be a great administration. People loved the Trump-Pence ticket. And the administration was a successful one. They accomplished a lot by working together. And as I said, in 2024, I'm definitely hoping and praying that Trump wins the election. And this time, Trump picked J.D. Vance, which made a lot of younger folks very excited, I think, because J.D. Vance is a millennial. But let's come back to the discussion of the Democratic Party. Let's focus on the discussion of Kamala Harris. The question is, who is Kamala Harris going to pick for VP? It obviously seems that she is going to be the nominee. And so the question is, who's going to be her running mate? Well, there are many hopefuls, I think, for that position. Now, all the names that were being mentioned as potential candidates for presidency, they are probably now in the list of potential vice presidential candidates. So Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, they are all possible VP picks. For months, people tried to guess who Trump would pick as his running mate. That was the topic of discussion. Because we knew that on the Democratic side, it's the Biden-Harris ticket. And now, see how things have changed. See how things have changed. And now everyone's talking about who is going to be the presidential nominee from the Democratic Party. And based on the latest news updates, as I mentioned, it clearly seems to be Kamala Harris. And then, the next question, who's going to be her VP pick? There are people out there who prefer competition. There are those who believe that Kamala Harris should not receive an automatic nomination. There are those who believe in a competitive process so that other candidates can also try to win the nomination. Marianne Williamson, she asked for an open convention. She's a former Democratic presidential candidate, and Marianne Williamson said that the nomination of a new Democratic candidate must be open to a genuinely democratic process at an open convention. She does not support the idea of Joe Biden appointing a new nominee through his endorsement. But I think the ship has already sailed. With Kamala Harris getting so many endorsements, it appears that she will be the Democratic nominee. Dick Durbin, who is the number 2 Senate Democrat, he also expressed his support for Kamala Harris. So the Democratic Party is not really following a democratic process to select the presidential candidate. The high-ranking Democrats, they are pretty much, telling people who the nominee is going to be through their endorsement. So this should be a message to the voters, to the American voters, that the Democrats don't care about democracy. They don't support competition. They believe in picking their favorites. I mean, I'm going to give you another example. This is what the Democrats do in the energy sector. They pick their favorites. The Democrats, they love wind and solar, and they are waging a war against fossil fuels. They do the same in the auto industry. The Democrats, they push people towards electric vehicles while also introducing strict regulations and standards for gas-powered vehicles, because the Democrats, they want people to buy electric vehicles and move away from gas-powered vehicles. So the Democrats, they always try to impose their choices. The Washington Democrats, the high-ranking Democrats, they try to impose their choices on the American people. And so they are doing the same thing within their party. Rather than having a competitive process, they are trying to install Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. And so now the discussion is about who Kamala Harris will pick for VP. I think it could be anyone. I have mentioned Gretchen Whitmer, possible candidate, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker. It really could be anyone. Look far and wide. Look at who's in the president's administration. Pete Buttigieg. Kamala could pick Pete Buttigieg for VP. That's possible. I'm also hearing the name of Josh Shapiro. His name is being mentioned as a possible candidate. He's the governor of Pennsylvania. I also heard the name of Roy Cooper being mentioned. And Roy Cooper is the governor of North Carolina. And Roy Cooper is in his second term as the governor of North Carolina. He cannot run for a third term because of term limit. And so Roy Cooper may be the person who Kamala Harris picks for VP. We don't know. I've also heard the name of Mark Kelly being mentioned. Mark Kelly is a former astronaut, and he is now the U.S. Senator. He's now a U.S. Senator from Arizona, so he could also be a running mate. And so at this point, it's hard to guess who would be the running mate. Also, I have to mention the governor of Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz. His name has also been mentioned. And here's the thing. People are wondering, is it going to be a man or a woman, the running mate? Is it going to be a man or a woman? If Kamala Harris officially becomes the Democratic nominee for president, then there's a possibility that the ticket could have two women, Kamala Harris and a female running mate. That's what will happen if Kamala Harris picks Gretchen Whitmer. Then it would be two women on one ticket versus two men on another ticket. So by that I mean two women, Kamala Harris and Gretchen Whitmer, on one ticket, and then Donald Trump and J.D. Vance on the Republican ticket. There are other women that who Kamala Harris could pick. Could she possibly pick Hillary Clinton as running mate? I don't think it's likely, but it could happen. Who knows? I keep saying that in the world of politics, it's hard to make predictions. You never know. In the world of politics, things can change within a day, within a week. And so anything is possible. And then another name that's out there, Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Could Kamala Harris pick Amy Klobuchar as running mate? Anything is possible. And oh, by the way, there are a couple of other names. Andy Beshear, governor of Kentucky, and then Wes Moore, governor of Maryland. They could also, one of them could also be the running mate. So we don't know who it's going to be. There are more questions than answers at this point. There is a real possibility that the running mate could be someone from a battleground state, such as Michigan or Pennsylvania, and maybe even Wisconsin. But I don't think that Governor Tony Evers of Wisconsin will be chosen for VP. I don't think so. So, as I'm looking at the different news reports, I have not seen any report yet that mentions the possibility of Tony Evers being chosen for VP. So, is it going to be someone from Michigan? Gretchen Whitmer? Is it going to be someone from Pennsylvania? Josh Shapiro? Maybe. Over the next few days, maybe over the next several days, over the next few weeks, we will find out more information about what's going on. And as I learn more, I will be sharing the updates with you. I will share with you my opinions, my analysis, my commentary, because what's happening in American politics right now, there's no way to predict what's going to happen in the days and weeks ahead. But I will tell you one thing. I am supporting Donald J. Trump. I am looking forward to voting for the Trump-Vance presidential ticket. And at the end of the day, at the end of this whole process, on November 5th, I think Donald Trump will be the winner. We are very close to the election, still a few months out, but time flies really fast. So we are very close to the election, and we're going to find out soon what the outcome will be. But at this point, when you look at the Democrats, it seems that their party is in a real crisis. Their party is in a real crisis. And so the Democratic National Convention is coming up in Chicago next month. And what's going to happen between now and the Democratic Convention, what political news, breaking news, will take place, what kind of new developments will take place. Will Kamala Harris, will she officially become the Democratic nominee? That's what it seems as of now. Are we going to find out who the running mate will be? I mean, these are all questions that we don't know the answers to. So let's wait. Let's see what happens. But when you look at the Republican Party, very strong, very much energized. The Republicans are supporting Donald Trump for president. And so, I'm very excited being a Republican voter. And let's work hard to elect Donald Trump as the president, as the 47th president, so we can all make America great once again. My friends, share with me your thoughts. Go to my website, tausifanam.net. You can also email me. My email address is tausif@tausifanam.net. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm also on Truth Social. So connect with me. Thank you once again. And I'll be back soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. Thank you.